Welcome to the JodaCast. We're doing something new here. We are going to be making a tier list of all of the commanders in Star Wars Legion, at least as of June 21st, 2022. Because there'll be more one day. So, joining me, voice only, you don't get to see his pretty face, is Kris. You might recognize him from lots of our gameplay videos. Kris he knows a thing or two about Legion, I think. So I have enlisted his help. Say hello, Kris.
Hello.
Okay, so what we have here is we have all of the commanders in Legion. Before we start, I want to basically what makes somebody an F and what makes somebody an S. Let's get a baseline here.
Okay. So, what do you think?
I mean, to me, it would probably just mean a unit that when you see it against you on the table, you think you're not going to have fun. Or a unit there's no reason to choose anybody else other than them. As far as an F goes, I would say you're only playing as that unit because, it's for fun, or even then it's like they're just almost like you see somebody with that and you go, ugh, you must not know any better. That's how I feel. I don't know how you feel.
I mean, pretty much the same. I would say S tier is units that are either overperforming for what they cost or that provide something for the army overall that really seals together. Like, you could build an army or a whole list around this unit. Same for A and B, where it's the same level but not to that extreme. Maybe they're just good supports, and then once you get to C or D, they are just kind of average to just below average, something that you would expect you could throw into an army. You're not going to be too upset with, but there might have been better choices, or it's underperforming for what you're getting. And then F is just wow, you really you must really just like this character.
Yeah, and I think ideally a healthy game would have no S's or F's.
Yeah.
Well, let's start.
Okay.
Should we go alphabetical? Should we do random?
Let's just go alphabetical.
All right. Our first one is Agent Kallus. Where does he go?
Well, Agent Kallus is interesting because he's a brawling character who does a lot of range with his attacks, but also has a melee weapon, and he even has a command card about it. But that being said, he's just kind of an all-arounder, where there's other units who are cheaper who do the same thing but better. So I would argue he's maybe a C or D.
All right. I don't think I've ever played against him on the table. I'm not an Imperial player, but I don't think I've ever played against Kallus. He might be one of the few units in the game I've never seen on the table, so I feel okay putting him on a D for that reason alone.
Fair enough.
All right, Anakin. I see a lot of Anakin.
Yeah, actually, since his buffs from now, he has Defend 1 on You Underestimate My Power, and also just his cost reduction, he's actually pretty good.
He seems pretty great.
Yeah, well, now also, what's really important is he has Exemplar on his 3-pip, which means you're just sharing tokens everywhere. So you actually can probably put him in S tier because people actually build lists around Anakin these days. Because he's a great frontliner who also can do some support with the token sharing.
Yeah, I mean, whenever I run up against Anakin, it's I don't know how to deal with him. He's really good. And like you said, the new command card updates are great. And I guess if there's any character who is going to be S tier, it's okay if it's Anakin.
Yeah, I mean, also it turns out if you just give a Jedi a dodge every turn at the beginning, it's just good.
Well, especially his Jyn Erso, it's just better because usually deflect doesn't do any damage, but Jyn Erso is okay, I'll guarantee 1 damage.
Yeah.
Okay, how about Black Sun Vigo? Is that his title?
A Virgo? Vigo? Yeah.
He's a Virgo.
He's a Virgo.
Black Sun
have
Virgo.
Have you actually played him?
Pike, Sagittarius.
Oh, that'd be
Rebel
great.
Capricorn. I have not played with him or against him yet. I don't have any understanding of this guy yet.
So he does not have any unique command cards. He just has the standard,
Right.
ploy, aggression, deception cards.
Yeah.
So his main thing is his aid allows him to do token sharing, but it's a more of an active instead of passive token sharing, much like clones have. And also he gains a suppression for it. But he does have Dauntless and Independent Aim. Now, what's really important for having him is in order to get your Black Sun guys to actually have orders and use a Courage Bubble, you kind of need him. His attack's actually decent, 2 black, 2 white. But, I mean, he's just a generic commander for 50 points. I would argue like a B or C. He's just kind of like, this is a middle-of-the-line commander.
Well, if he's not like, B or C, let's stick him on B, and then if we, in comparison to other people, maybe we can bump him down later. But
Fair enough.
Okay, one of my favorites, Cassian.
Yeah, I'm sure you actually have a lot to say about Cassian.
I mean, he's very fun to play as, whether you're infiltrating him or sticking him in the background. Because he's commander / operative. He's versatile. Whenever I play as him, it's very difficult to kill him. Usually, unless you've done something wrong. I really he's the only way you can access K2, and I find K2 with him to be why would you take Cassian without K2? They're buddies. They got the teamwork keyword, my favorite keyword. His weapons. One thing I don't like about him is most characters have some command card that gives them extra attacks, and his just gives him standby and gunslinger. Gunslinger, I guess, is like an extra attack. Standby, so technically it could give him up to 3 attacks. But standby usually never kicks in. So I always feel like standby is iffy. I really like him. I would put him at A or B. I always have a good time when I play with him, and he's always he always pulls through for me.
I would agree because he's got some pretty good support-esque command cards, but also some very good that crack shot's so good because you can even do a sniper gunslinger, which is hilarious. But if you infiltrate him, you got a pistol and you got danger sense. You can stick him in some heavy cover, and he's probably gonna just stick there for a while.
I love danger sense.
It's good.
Danger sense is great.
I would probably put him at B, yeah.
Alright, how about Chewbacca, Commander for the Republic?
Oh, yeah.
Another one I have not... Oh, wait, no, I have played against Chewbacca once.
Just not played as?
I don't play Republic, so...
Oh, lame. So the thing about him is he's actually pretty decent because he searches to hit, but he has critical on his gun with impact and pierce. Reliable too, so he actually gets 2 surge tokens for his defense, which is pretty huge with that much health because you're probably going to get a surge every once in a while.
Republic Chewie has still 9 health, right?
Yes, 9 health, 2 courage, white defense dice. He still rages. What's interesting is his command hand is you have the 3 new Wookiee specific command cards, and also he has a specific one for himself, which is size matters sometimes, and it's basically him just picking up Yoda and just bolting.
That card, I've played against that card, and it's fun. It's cool. It's funny. I don't know if it's super good, but it's when that card comes out, you're like, well, I guess I'm not going to shoot at Chewie or Yoda because it kind of makes them just super tough together.
Yeah, and he gets deflect, and he can spend Yoda's dodge tokens. It's great. But the problem is he is a 90-point commander who is really working with Wookiees and Wookiees only. And as you probably can attest with, since you play Rebels a lot, Chewie tends to be just a bullet sponge to keep other useful units alive.
Chewie dies fast. For someone with 9 health, he's almost always one of my units that dies the fastest.
Well, also the Rebel Chewie, he has Guardian 3 as opposed to the Guardian 2 here. So usually people are just guarding off everything, but still with Guardian 2, he's mainly going to be there to save someone else. I would say probably C.
It feels weird too to make your leader be the one doing Guardian because you don't want your commander to die.
Yeah, so you're probably taking him with a different commander, which means, you're not building a list around him. He's a support.
All right, well, how about Rex? Rex is good, right?
For the most part, there were some nerfs to take that clankers. But I mean, overall, he's still a red health dude with surge to crits and 3 reds. With Gunslinger, which is always good. The problem is as a clone trooper, there is, we'll eventually see down this list. There's actually next one. There is a better, cheaper clone commander that can fill the same role.
So this guy's just a better Rex. So Rex's command cards don't give him the edge here.
Well, so the problem is Call Me Captain. It's a great card, right? It's the one that gives him fire support,
right? Unlimited
fire support. But he's range 2, which means you're going to have to throw him in the middle of the army, which just either he tends to die before he gets there, or he's going to die while he's up there. If you're allowed to get a Call Me Captain off, it's not because Rex is good. It's because your opponent has decided to shoot the wrong thing.
All right. And then, so the clone commander is just cheaper, still synergizes super well with clone troopers, and has a range 3 gun.
Exactly. I mean, the biggest thing there is the direct, right? Because direct gives you the face-ups you need for your core troopers, which will give you the fire support. Because a lot of builds these days either are exemplar builds or fire-supporting gunline builds. And those fire-supporting gunline builds work because you're able to do these directs with your clone commanders, with your 5s.
All right. Well, Count Dooku. I like Count Dooku, but I know he struggles compared to other Force users because he doesn't have jump and he doesn't have charge or relentless.
That's true.
A lack of charge or relentless seems to be a big deal, although his command cards are cool. I think his lightning being range 2 is super good.
Oh, yeah.
It's always fun going up against other lightsaber users because he can actually still get some pierce through, which seems really neat. I don't know. I'm leaning B or C, but what do you think? Because he's very expensive.
He's very expensive. That's his biggest flaw. But, I mean, his whole command deck, and also just his, Makashi Mastery, is all about just countering other saber users. So, with the meta as it is right now, there's not a lot. I would still probably argue he's a B. When you bring him... Yeah, you bring him to counter other saber users. Oh, and Magnet Guards. Magnet Guards are big right now. They have immune to Pierce and Melee. He can get around that as well.
Yeah, that's a good point. And he probably pairs well with Magnet Guards, too.
I mean, yeah.
Alright, how about Darth Vader, who he got a lot of buffs recently to his command cards. I feel like he's at least an A. Minimum, right?
Yes. So also, you're forgetting Burst of Speed.
Oh, yes, that command card. Or the upgrade card.
The upgrade card. He's just like, hey, I'm speed 3 this turn.
I mean,
and if you put...
a couple weeks ago, I played against a list that was literally a list you could have made when the game launched out of the core box. It was just speeder bikes, Vader, and stormtroopers. But now, with the updates to Vader's command cards and I don't even know if he was using any upgrades that didn't exist back then, and it was so good. Vader just steamrolled. Yeah,
and he has Compel now, so all your troops in range range 2, they will be able to move and shoot every turn no matter what, or move and do something else. And because they get a suppression from that, and he has a limited suppression command.
Courage.
Courage, there we go.
He's a brave fella.
They're not going to panic.
Yeah.
So, and he's got an extra dodge from
he got so many dodges. I'm like, okay, well, I have to kill Vader. I've killed Vader before. How hard can it be? The entire game, every round, I was shooting everybody at Vader, and he lived through the whole game, like 5 rounds.
Yeah, even his implacable.
Part of it came down to dice, but still, it was like, Vader should not be this hard to kill. So
yeah, implacable has 2 dodges because he gets it for each of his activations, and he activates twice that turn. You could build a list around Vader.
So S.
I would argue S. Yeah.
Okay, Krennic, another guy I've seen on the table in a long time. Is he a D, C, F, B?
Oh, Krennic. The problem is you want to pair him with Death Troopers, right?
Yeah.
And Death Troopers are just kind of a little too expensive right now. And his command cards, I mean, Voracious Ambition's kind of cool, but Deploy the Garrison's hard to do because the Empire doesn't have a lot of good standbys except for Death Troopers. And then Annihilation Looms is just give everyone suppression, but every army has a way to get around that except for Empire these days.
Yeah.
I would argue, because he also is not a support commander, right? He has no support. I see people sometimes just give him electro binoculars just so he does something. So I'd argue he's probably a D right now.
All right. Palpatine. I don't see him around often, but I'm assuming because he's quite expensive. He does do very cool things.
Yeah, that's true. Also, he's also another Speed 1 unit that got a buff with the idea of Burst of Speed.
Yeah,
you burst a speed in there and then Palp Bomb with and now you will die.
Corkscrew dive at people. Yeah, and now you die it's cool. But yeah, we don't see him. But he's got what's it called? Is it called Pulling the Strings, or is that his ability from Imperial Assault?
No, he has it here. Which is cool because Yoda has something similar, but this one allows you to make an attack. The problem is, though, yeah, you're right. If you're going to take an expensive Force user like this, you're probably going to take Vader. So I would argue A or B. Probably B to be safe.
I'm going to throw him in B because I just don't see him very often.
Yeah, it's hard to build a list around something where it's like, right, well, here's a quarter of my army.
Okay, well, let's look at Gar Saxon, another new kid on the block.
I'm guessing you also haven't played with him.
No.
Well,
I have his card on the desk right in front of me because I opened his box today.
Did you get his shield token or his shield card?
It hasn't arrived yet, but I've put in for it because, the people at the 5th Trooper are super cool, and if you're watching this and you are unaware, the Gar Saxon expansion did not include Gar Saxon's shield, which is they just forgot to put it in, and they said, hey, here's a PDF, you can print your own, and 5th Trooper said, how about we'll just mail you one. I don't know if they still have that option available, but pretty cool of 5th Trooper to do what maybe the company should be doing themselves, but in any case, mine hasn't come in yet. But, Gar Saxon, any Mandalorian I always feel like is really good with red save, search to defend, and impervious.
Yeah. He also has Compel.
He does have Compel. Seems cool. His gun seems pretty great. Black, red, white. Pierce 1.
He also has Allies of Convenience, which is actually pretty big because, just to clarify, he's only allowed in the Shadow Collective. So
yes.
You're going to have a lot of mercenaries and stuff. So it's really important for him to have that so he can actually issue orders to those mercenaries. Also, he has like 2 training, 2 gear,
yeah, that's what I'm looking
2
at.
weapons.
He's got 2 armament slots, 2 gear slots, and 2 training slots. Anytime someone has 2 training, I always get very excited. That's so good to have 2 training slots. Probably not as big of a deal to have 2 gear slots, but does anybody else have 2 gear slots?
I think a few do, but it is really rare. what's really cool about it is you can give him prepared supplies, which will give him a dodge they can use anytime. And then you can also give him the shield, which will recharge by itself if you don't happen to recharge it yourself.
And then I would assume up close and personal is a good choice for him because his guns are ranged too.
Yeah, and then you can give him a rocket, you can give him a flamethrower. If you decide you just really want him to stay back, and give him a sniper rifle. Honestly, he is built the way I kind of hoped Boba was built, with a lot of different...
Boba. You cut out, yeah. So I heard Oba. I was like, who's Oba?
You know, Oba, the greatest. The greatest Mandalorian. But honestly, like, if Boba was to be made again, I would expect him to be made like this, with just a lot of slots. I mean, a lot of his command cards to make gears.
Yeah, he definitely feels very Mandalorian-y, with just like, you've just got dozens of options for equipment, just like a man who lives by his toolkit.
Yeah, I think where you have him right now, that seems like a good spot, especially since, he's not really competing with a lot.
Yeah, he is the only unique commander for the Shadow Collective, technically-ish, because Maul can be, but Maul is not on my list here, because technically Maul is an operative for Shadow Collective.
Should we just put on the Darksaber as the picture then?
No, he'll be in the operative video. If enough people enjoy this, we'll go through each rank. I've set up a list for each rank. So I think we would do operatives next, then core, then whatever. So let's keep going. Grievous. I just played a game today with Grievous, and he absolutely mulched Luke Skywalker and Han Solo. I think that was not the norm. I think some dice trickery was at play, as well as him being backed up by Magna Guards turned out really well. But all of his command cards actually worked perfectly how they were supposed to. I want to say minimum B, but you tell me, because I know a lot of people don't use him, because maybe you should just run Maul and the generic tactical droid. I think I like him, but I know he's not really, he's kind of outshine. A lot of other options outshine him.
Yeah, but I mean, he's also like, it almost feels like he's a Force user. Well, he's a droid pretending to be a Force user,
Right, and
he has no Force slots.
I did have the best case scenario today, I think, against Luke, with my dice being good, his dice being bad, but also Grievous getting to go up against a Force user so he can surge to crit, and having the Magna Guards right next to him to Guardian and things like that.
Yeah, that's actually really important, because unlike a lot of other Saber users, he's not immune to Pierce. He's impervious, but that's just not immune to Pierce,
right,
which makes it so much worse. But on the flip side, Grievous is only 155 points. So if you're facing like a gunline or something, he might actually just rip through it. It's when you're facing other Saber users that he's kind of like on the back foot.
I mean, and he technically has the most potential attacks per activation of any unit in the whole game. Because his one pip lets you make an attack for every single enemy at range 1, which, theoretically could be a lot of attacks.
Yeah, I mean, I wish
there is no maximum there.
It kind of sucks that it's suppressive and versatile instead of like having the impact 1 Pierce 1 as his normal weapon.
Right. The lack of Pierce on it hurts, but it's still good if you can throw out 4 free attacks.
I would say that I agree with you with B, just because you could make a list around Grievous, like throw in some Magna Guards. He has 2 command slots.
He's a B+.
Yeah, he has 2 command slots too, which is great because you can get aggressive tactics and then throw in like some other thing just for funsies.
I mean, so you helped me build my Grievous list sort of, and I said I don't know about aggressive tactics, never works for me, and then it didn't. I spent 1 surge token the whole game. Everybody had surges the whole time. I think it's just my dice. Veers, good old support commander. Is this can we drop him right into B, or is he an A boy? Does he fit into? Does he fit into the A hole or the B hole?
Unfortunately, he is a B-hole buddy only, because I actually really like Veers. My ATSD Chan list runs Veers, because with electro binoculars, he gets spotter 3, which means, so in my list, I have 3 shores, so I can hand out aims to everyone, or 2 of them in the ATSD. And he has 2 command slots, which is great because you can give him aggressive tactics, and then you can do something like lead by example, which for the Empire, having Inspire 3 is amazing, because the Empire really sucks with Inspire. That's what's funny about like Krennic, because Krennic gives suppression to everyone, but really it seems like it only matters to the Empire.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right though. He is like, unlike Krennic, he is a good support commander who also happens to have just like this Pierce 1 range 3 shot if worst comes to worst. It's like,
whenever he actually does have to shoot and go, I guess, it's not bad. It always, does a damage or 2 consistently because it's got Pierce.
Yeah, and he searches the crit.
Yeah. Yeah, he's I don't underestimate Veers.
He also has maximum firepower, which is the weakest of all the like free long range shot attacks. But I mean, this is just kind of a little bit of speculation, but we're getting like a Blizzard Force coming up. Like, he's Veers. He's got to be involved in that, right?
I mean, yeah, presumably. There's no way he wouldn't be one of the people in the Blizzard Force battle force.
Yeah, and we're getting. They said we get new command card stuff. Maybe Veers will actually get like a bump ups that way.
Yeah, that could be. Let's look at Han. Han is probably my favorite commander in the game. I'm going to just drop him right into A, because since he got the steady keyword, he's went from kind of whatever to like super good. I tend to have a lot of luck with him too, keeping him alive. Always run him with Chewie and always make sure he's got dodges. And I give him vigilance just to keep his own dodge onto him. I always do really well with Han, and I really like Han. The only thing is, if anybody gets close to him and says the word melee, he dies.
Yes.
Anybody, even just like stormtroopers, anybody gets in a melee with him, it's game over for Han, usually, in my experience. But his command cards are super fun. I love his command cards.
I mean, he has a 0 pip. Like, that beats Cunning.
It's so good. I love dropping that, and I love playing Chewie's card that just lets me put it back so I can do it again. His change of plans card, where you just actually you do something else, can be good, especially if you have a good idea of what your opponent's running, so you know when to just mess them up. I really like Han. I feel good putting him in A.
I mean, you're the main Rebel player here, so I'll completely defer that to you. That makes sense to me.
Oh, another player or another character I've barely ever played against. I maybe only played 1 game against Iden. Makes me feel like it might be another Imperial in the D hole. Maybe C or B. I feel like A.
I would argue A.
Yes. Oh.
Let me tell you why.
She's an a-hole.
Kinda. So there is a list that is specifically built around her called Tac Strike. And the whole premise is Tactical Strike is one of her command cards that her and Special Forces units can lower their speed by 1 to gain Steady and Tactical 1, which means you just load up the aims, you move in, and you get to attack after moving twice. You put offensive push on her, you're getting 3 aims that way. And if you pair her with her Imperial Special Forces, who have marksman, you're actually pretty much the averages is 8 hits each time. So the whole list is built on doing an alpha strike to turn 1 or turn 2, have 3 special forces plus Iden go in and just nuke things so that the tempo is all in your favor.
But is she only good in that specific build?
No, that's the best part though.
Okay.
Because out of all
I bet we could make one specific list for all of these guys that makes them amazing, but they got to be able to fit into lots of stuff.
Yeah, that's true. But for like A base 130 points. She gets ID 10, which actually, even though it says she has 6 health, with ID 10, she effectively has 8 because she gets 1 from the droid and a shield.
Yeah.
And then you also can either take her with a sniper rifle or the TL-50, which is... It's a repeater gun with critical and impact with 2 reds, a black, and 2 whites. And honestly, out of all the, like, commanders who aren't... For the Empire, who aren't support commanders or saber users, she's one of the best ones who can actually go in and be offensive, push with the army, and stay alive. And she also has the covert ops, much like Cassian does.
Is good.
Yeah. Oh, but here's the thing: if you've turned her into an operative, that's cool. She gets infiltrate, which is what you do with tac strike. But if you keep her as a commander, she's one of the few Imperial commanders to have courage 3.
Oh, that's something. Courage 3 is not common.
It is not. You're especially in the Empire. You have her, and then the next 2 highest are the Emperor at 4, and then Darth Vader at infinite.
Yeah. All right. Imperial Officer, I'm assuming is going to go in B or A. Does that sound right?
Yeah, I would argue B. So the problem with Veers is the Imperial Officer. If you give them electric binoculars, they basically do the same thing as you would use for Veers. They hand out aims and they act as a commander, but they do it for like 30 points less.
Right, much like the other generic commanders, it's mostly like, well, I want to like focus my army on all of my other stuff other than the commander.
Yeah. It's like when you take 3 naked cores, you're just like, I have a requirement.
Let's go with Jyn. I really like Jyn. She got a point reduction a long time ago. Jyn, I always have a lot of fun putting Jyn and Cassian in the same list. I love her trust goes both ways command card to get teamwork with somebody. Because, like I said, teamwork's one of my favorite keywords. And then since she has quick thinking, it makes that turn really good with whoever you're working with. She's got danger sense. Love danger sense.
Oh yeah, that's right. By the way, Iden also has quick thinking.
Oh yeah, quick thinking is great.
It's great. You get an aim and a dodge. Like, what the fuck?
Do you think she fits in B or is she a C? She's not the first choice for Rebels, but you can make her work because she can infiltrate. She doesn't have to become an operative to infiltrate.
I argue... So I'm not a Rebel player.
I'm also not like a brainy Rebel player. I play Jyn, I make it work, and I have fun with her.
Well, my argument would be for C. And the reason for that is she's good, but she seems like a good second support commander.
Like I said, usually when I play her, it's because I'm like, let's play Rogue One, the board game, and I put Cassian and her in the same list.
Exactly. She works really well with other named commanders, which, I mean, to be fair, the Rebel lists tend to want to bring a lot of named units, but that's the thing. I feel like she is good when somebody else is better.
Fair enough. Speaking of guy who you only want to bring when you have other named people, we got Lando.
Yeah.
Lando's got a great attack because it's range 3, sharpshooter 2, pierce 1.
And it's a red-black, which means you don't even need aims for it most of the time.
So he's really good at throwing out damage. He's got the contingencies and... the contingencies is part of why you always want to bring him with somebody else, just so you have that many more options. I feel like he's probably a B or a C.
Yeah, the contingencies are great because you pair him with like Han, and you just have like you can always grab some of the like change of plans. You can have that in your contingency deck, so you can bring it out whenever you need.
And he's got uncanny luck. Uncanny luck can be pretty clutch sometimes.
Yeah, you just love uncanny luck though.
It's good. Sometimes
he also has covert ops.
Yeah, covert ops is always a good one.
Also, it should be mentioned that Idiot's Array, it has a lot of text, but basically he just gets a lot of tokens. He gets marksman and gunslinger.
His command cards are I feel a little too like wordy for my taste. You got to do a lot of like parsing, be like, especially the one pip where you're like, okay, I got this or this, but this, okay, yeah, I don't know.
But Ace Up His
good.
Sleeve is great
That one's
because you
really
can
good.
act. Yeah, you don't even have to use it as a command card. You can just give someone a token.
Yeah, it's really good. Leia used to be my go-to commander probably years ago. It's been a
Yeah,
while.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, giving her the whatever portable scanner, she throw out 3 dodge tokens seems cool, but her one pip, great opener, throw out 3 suppressions, maybe kill 6 troopers. I feel like she's probably a B or a C.
Yeah, I'd probably throw her in B like with Veers. Because
Great support commander. I personally really like her 2-pip that lets people do a 1-speed move, because you set up with guys with scout and recon intel, and then you hit them with that. You got all your guys where you need them to be really fast.
well, not to mention, I know we haven't seen them in a while, but Tauntauns, they're still good. We just don't see them around. And No Times for Sorrow can help you with that because they have Nimble.
Yeah.
Or, not Nimble, what's the one that gives them a dodge when they move? Agile. So they move, they get a dodge before they even, like, start the turn.
Luke, another former staple of my lists.
Oh, this is Commander Luke.
Yes. This is the Commander tier list video.
Yeah, well, you know.
I'm thinking C just because he's overshadowed by a lot of other guys. Like, if you're bringing Luke, you probably just want to bring Operative Luke.
Yeah, if you're bringing Luke, you're bringing Luke, not, Farmer Luke.
This isn't Farmer Luke. This is Rebel Luke. He's more than a farmer, less than a Jedi.
Yeah. The 40-point difference is a lot, but honestly, like,
I mean, you still get his 6 command cards, which are mostly pretty cool. His pistol, not a bad range 2 gun if you're running around shooting stuff, but
that's the thing.
If you want to run around and shoot stuff, you just use Han.
Exactly. And if you wanted to do melee stuff and be a menace, you would use Operative Luke.
Do we dare put him in D?
I like him at C, because you are right, he does have 6 command cards. And those are good command cards. Son of Skywalker will nuke anything.
Yes. Alright, Obi-Wan.
You actually just released a video about Obi-Wan on your 2-minute unit.
I sure did. Go watch the Obi-Wan Kenobi 2-minute unit video if you want to learn everything you need to know about playing Obi-Wan and Legion in 2 minutes or less.
Hey, great sell. Have you played a lot of Obi-Wan? Oh wait, you don't play Republic.
I do actually own an Obi-Wan and I painted it, but he sits on my shelf.
Nice. He is a great all-rounder. Actually, honestly, out of all the heroes that come in core sets, I like him the best because he will do whatever you need him to do. He will guardian for you. He will
Hey, Obi-Wan,
support.
I need a favor. I will do what I must.
Also, what's really cool is he can guardian melee attacks with knowledge and defense, which is great, especially since his special mastery was a Sorisu mastery.
Yeah,
you can spend dodges and you can spend dodges, or what is it? You can
dodges
defend while guarding.
Yeah,
which is great because his 1-pip lets him get nimble, which means you can constantly, for 1 turn when you have that, just have a dodge and then guardian 1 from everything around you and just freely take that shot off because you'll get that dodge back. I would argue A or B.
All right, let's we'll throw him in A.
Okay.
It's hot Obi-Wan summer. Capo. Probably a B. Should we just throw him in the B hole?
Yeah, I mean, he has danger sense. You love danger sense.
Danger sense is good.
He has independent dodge and he has aid. The one cool thing about the Pike Syndicate is they can go in any faction.
He has 1 aid.
He's a range 3 gun. Yeah, it's just like, hey, he's a generic commander.
Right. The generic commanders aren't. Speaking of generic commanders, we got this guy.
He's cheaper
find
Leia.
Him to be quite useful. Yeah, cheaper Leia. I almost think he could be an A, but I feel like of all the factions, the Rebels have the most named people who do cool things, which means you're less likely to want to run the generic guy than in other factions.
Yeah, I mean, you're not building a list around, the famed Rebel officer. He's there because, hey, you need somebody to hand out some dodges.
So this is generic guy. This one is Kraken, and this one is Kalani, or the other.
That is correct. Okay. No, Kalani is the first one.
Okay, so let's go with colonoscopy.
Always great. Should always get one.
Just for fun.
Just for fun, Don't even. Everyone needs hobbies.
I mean, you don't need the results. If your insurance covers it, you can go in there, say, "Hey, give me one of these," and then they'll be like, "All right, your results will be mailed to you," and you'll be like, "Nah, keep them. I got what I wanted."
We've both got something from this. Kalani is an S tier.
Oh.
So here's why. Strategize 2 lets you get 2 aims and 2 dodges to 2 units, right? Well, an aim and dodge to 2 units.
Yeah.
Also, Kalani has direct AI unit, which means that even if you're giving orders to other things, you can still have your order chain going. And still has Sharpshooter 2. Now, it doesn't have as strong of a gun as Kraken. One of the main lists right now revolves around giving orders to supports and heavy. So you either do the 2 spider droids or the 2 Persuader class tanks. And Kalani's great at focusing on 2 heavy hitters in the back type. You can even do like AATs. And Kalani will keep them with dodges, with aims, and avoid their AIs.
All right. Kraken, the melee focused one.
Yeah.
Probably A or B?
S tier.
Oh, well, there we go.
Different reason, though. Not as good as support. So, Kalani's all support, right?
Yeah.
Kraken is all about, hey, I roll 4 red dice with lethal 1 in melee. I override people's AI in range 2. And I have charge. He is a 100-point unit who, with like tenacity, could get to 5 red dice.
He's not super survivable, though. I will say I did because he doesn't have. There's nothing. He's got no defensive abilities. I did play him alongside Magna Guards because I'm like, okay, he's just gonna run up and punch things with them. And I played against you, and you had Vader. And I was like, he's going to go punch Vader because I have to have everybody punch Vader. Otherwise, we're never going to get anywhere. And he ran up and he punched Vader, and then Vader one-hitted him. So,
well, yes,
be careful
he's
who
Vader.
You punch. I guess.
Yes.
Don't
but also,
guys who can punch back harder.
You have preservation protocols, which can give you disengage and impervious for a turn, and a dodge token.
I mean, the tactical droid, super tactical droid command cards are so good.
They're so good. And so Kraken is basically, if you want to take Grievous, think about Kraken first, because Kraken can actually like really push things over.
More like
it's really
cracking some skulls.
Yeah. I mean, he also has Override 2. Like, you can just negate one of the drawbacks of the whole CIS army.
So, how about their generic brother?
I mean, B.
Okay. And now just regular tactical droid, not super. Probably just B or A, I think. This guy's pretty good in the droid armies just because...
He has direct.
Yeah, direct is good.
I would say B or C. Like, the problem is like, if you're going to take the T-Series, The T series has white defense dice, no surge, with 4 health. If anything even looks at him wrong, he's gonna die.
Fair enough. Okay, how about Wookiee Chieftain?
Oh, this guy's so good.
Oh.
Have you played against one?
No, I have not.
Okay, so Wookiee Chieftain is a Wookiee
Yep,
that
I got
surges.
that much.
He surges to defense, which is really important for a Wookiee.
It is. I play Rebel Wookiees, and they just might as well just automatically roll blanks.
Yeah. He also has Agile 1, which means he has a dodge. He's keeping it forever while he's pushing up. And his ancestral weapon is double rainbow. And he has duelist. And his gun is just a bowcaster. You know, the heavy
Wait, he's got a melee that's red, red, black, black, white, white.
Yeah.
That's like a lightsaber.
Yeah, it is. It doesn't have any keywords on it, but he has duelist, so he'll get Pierce 1 if you spend an aim, and dodge gives him immune to Pierce.
The question is, his utility is probably rather restricted, because if you're not running Wookiees, he's useless. He's not going to do good with clones, right?
Not particularly, because, you know, his whole thing is, much like Kraken, he's all about, like, charging in, but Kraken also supports, with the override, any AI unit. So, maybe a or B? He's just...
I'm going to put him in B, because he's not going to grow, because they're never going to keep releasing more and more variations on Wookiees, so he's never going to have anything more than he has right now, you know what I mean?
Actually agree, because he reminds me of basically the Republic version of General Grievous, where he's a non-lightsaber user who happens to hit hard.
Alright, Yoda, last one.
Yoda's S tier. I don't like him personally because he's so expensive and he doesn't match my playstyle, but let's be honest, his command cards are great. And he also has guidance, and if he even gets even close to you, you're dead.
Alright, well there you have it. It ran a little longer than I was expecting, but I think that was I learned a lot. And I'm happy there's no F tiers, there's no stinkers. Well, no super stinkers. Let's see. If you liked this video, let us know, because I am happy to go through each rank individually. Operatives is what I plan on doing next, but also let us know if you think we put anybody in the wrong spot. If you think Krennic is S tier, or Han Solo is C tier, whatever, let us know in the comments, and we will refine our analysis strategies for next time.
The only thing I want to hear is Krennic S tier. I want all the Krennic fanboys to come on and give a detailed reason why Krennic is S tier.
Actually, what you fail to understand is cunning coupled with the Annihilation Looms card can actually...
I mean, you're bringing up a good point. Like, cunning's great.
I mean, cunning is good.
It is good.
Annihilation Looms mostly just screws yourself.
Yeah, it really does.
But, okay, hear me out. Pair him with Vader and play Annihilation Looms, and then play the Vader Suppression Bomb, like one before the other. Maybe the Vader one comes first.
Okay, so you're spending close to 300 points.
Let's not think about that. But in 2 turns, your entire enemy force will be panicking.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. So tell us why Krennic is S tier, or why we got things wrong, or whatever. Thanks for watching. This has been the JodoCast, and stay tuned for next time when we do more of this sort of thing. Say bye, Kris.
Goodbye.